Okay, let's get into this. Try to picture this scene.
Hmm.
You're in a monastery, right? Monks, meditating, focusing, and there's this one guy who is just incredibly still. I mean, no fidgeting at all, no shifting around, not even like a yawn, even after sitting for a really long time.
Yeah, that kind of stillness, especially in that setting, would definitely stand out. It's remarkable.
It really was, and that exact observation is where our deep dive starts today. We're looking into the story of a monk called Santakaya Thera.
Which the name itself means something like the calm-bodied elder.
Exactly, calm-bodied. And his stillness, his lack of movement, it was so noticeable that the other monks actually went and reported it to the Buddha himself.
And so this wasn't just, someone having a good meditation session. This was something else entirely.
Right, and we're digging into some ancient texts and commentaries that tell this story, trying to figure out why was he like that?
What was the reason behind this unusual physical composure?
That's the mission for this deep dive. We'll unpack the sources, find out the really surprising explanation, and then explore the deeper teaching that came out of it all.
And it really does take an unexpected turn.
Oh yeah. Get ready, because it's probably not what you'd guess. It's a fantastic example, though, of how something seemingly simple on the surface,
Like just sitting still.
yeah, just sitting still, can lead to some really profound insight.
Absolutely.
So let's start where the story does, with that observation. The texts say that when Santakaya Thera sat, there was no hand and foot kukucha.
Kukucha. Yeah, that's like restlessness, isn't it? Fidgeting with your hands or feet. Worry sometimes, but here, physical restlessness.
So none of that, and also, crucially, no kaya vijambana.
Which is like stretching the body, twisting, or specifically yawning. His posture was just completely settled.
The texts even use the term Santakāyattheravatthu.
Meaning he had this sort of naturally calm physical disposition. A calm self-nature, you could say.
And it wasn't just sometimes. This was how he always sat. It was so consistent that the other monks, well, they were kind of amazed. They went to the Buddha and basically said, so we've never seen anyone like Santakāya. When he sits, no hand movement, no foot movement, no yawning. They were genuinely puzzled.
You can imagine, even for monks training in mindfulness, that level of stillness would be, well, exceptional.
So why? Why him? What was the secret to Santakaya Thera's extraordinary physical calm? And this is where the story really pivots. The Buddha explained it came from a past life.
He said Santakaya Thera had come from a lion's birth, Shayoniagato.
A lion. Okay, now it gets really fascinating because the texts don't just stop there. They describe a very specific, almost ritualistic behavior of lions.
Right. So picture a lion after a successful hunt. It's eaten its fill.
And then it goes off to a special cave.
Not just any old cave, though. The commentaries describe these caves as being made of, like silver, gold, jewels, or even coral.
Seriously, wow. Talk about a majestic den.
Pretty impressive, yeah. And inside these rather luxurious caves, the lion would do something specific. It would lie down on a bed made of colored powders.
Colored powders?
Yeah, the texts mention manasla and haritala. These are mineral pigments like red arsenic and yellow orpiment. So beds of fine powder.
Okay, and it lies down on this powder bed.
And stays there, completely still, for 7 days.
7 days, just lying there.
Motionless.
Motionless. And the reason becomes clear after those 7 days. The lion gets up, and it carefully looks at the spot where it was lying.
Checking the powder.
Exactly. It was kind of a test. If the powder was messed up, scattered by any movement, maybe its tail twitched or its ears or feet shifted, then the lion considered that messed up powder as something not befitting their birth or lineage.
Like, I'm a lion, I shouldn't be fidgeting like this. A lack of control.
Yeah, precisely. It was tied to their identity, their nobility, their self-mastery. And if they failed the test. If the powder was disturbed...
What then? They'd lie down again for another 7 days. And this time, fasting. No food. Nirahara.
Wow. That is some serious self-discipline. All linked to staying still.
It really emphasizes how important this physical composure was to their nature, as described in these texts. But if they got up after the 7 days...
The first time or the second time if they failed?
Right. And the powder was not scattered, perfectly undisturbed.
Then they pass?
Then they passed. They saw that perfect stillness as befitting their birth and lineage. It confirmed their noble nature.
Okay. And only then, after proving their stillness, would they leave the cave.
And even leaving was deliberate. The texts say they'd emerge, stretch, or maybe yawn that kaya vijambita again, but intentional this time.
Ah, interesting.
Then they'd survey all the directions, very regal-like, let out the big lion's roar 3 times, and only then would they go off to hunt again.
So it's this whole sequence. Intense stillness, self-testing, and then this powerful, controlled emergence and action.
Exactly. A cycle of profound, calm, and deliberate power.
Okay, so we have this incredibly detailed picture of a lion's ritual focused on stillness. Now, how does this connect back to our monk, Santakaya Thera?
Well, that's what the Buddha explained. That deep-seated habit, that inherent tendency towards stillness and composure.
Which was like a mark of pride and control for the lion.
Yes, exactly that. It carried over through rebirth. It became part of his nature.
Ah, so the monk's stillness, no fidgeting, no yawning while sitting, it wasn't just a personality quirk. It was literally an echo, a residue of that intense stillness cultivated in his past life as a lion during that specific ritual.
That's the connection the texts make. A really powerful effect from a previous existence. But, while the monk's physical stillness was the starting point, the really amazing observation.
The thing that got everyone's attention.
Right. The Buddha used it for something much bigger. He didn't just stop at the past life story. He used Santakaya Thera as a living example to teach about what true calm really means, the ideal of an upasanta.
An upasanta. A truly calm person, in the deepest sense. So what does that involve? It's clearly more than just not fidgeting.
Much more. And the Buddha laid it out in this really concise verse. It goes, Santakāya Santavako Santamana Susamahito Vantalokamiso Bhikkhu Upasantoti Vukatiti.
Okay, let's break that down. That verse seems key.
It really is. It outlines the whole package. First, Santakāya calm-bodied.
Like Santakaya Thera, sitting still.
Well, yes, but the explanation goes deeper. It's achieved by abstaining from harmful bodily actions. Things like killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. The basic precepts, really. So calm body means ethical conduct with your body.
Okay, that's a much richer meaning. It's about how you use your body, not just holding it still. Then Santabako.
Calm in speech. And again, it's ethical. Achieved by abstaining from harmful speech. So, no lying, no slander, divisive talk, no harsh words, no pointless chatter. It's about speech that's truthful, kind, beneficial.
So calm extends to our words, our communication. And deeper still, Santamano.
Calm-minded. This is about the inner world. Abstaining from mental states like greed, covetousness, ill will, anger, wrong views. It's about purifying the mind itself.
Body, speech, mind, all needing this ethical calm. And then susamahito.
That means well-composed or well-concentrated. It ties the other 3 together. It's about achieving a firm concentration, a settled state that integrates this calm body, calm speech, and calm mind. Mindfulness and focus are key here.
Makes sense. There's one more phrase in there. Vantalokamiso.
Right, vantalokamiso. It means something like having disgorged or vomited out worldly things. It refers to letting go.
Letting go of what?
Worldly attachments. Sensual pleasures, wanting possessions, status, praise, avoiding blame, all the things that usually drive us. The commentaries link this to progress on the spiritual path, the 4 stages of attainment. It shows real calm involves deep detachment.
Okay, so if a person cultivates all of this, the ethical body, the ethical speech, the pure mind, all unified by concentration, and they've let go of worldly attachments.
Then they are called upasanta, fully calm, fully serene. The verse applies it to the bhikkhu, the monk, because they are inwardly calmed from the fires of passion, desire, raga, aversion, delusion. They've reached a state of profound inner peace.
Wow. So it started with this almost curious physical trait of one monk.
Stemming from that amazing lion story.
Yeah, and it blossoms into this incredibly comprehensive teaching on what true peace, true calmness actually entails. It's holistic. Body, speech, mind, concentration, detachment. It's the whole path.
Exactly. It uses the visible, the physical stillness, as a doorway to understanding the invisible, the deep inner serenity that comes from cultivating the path fully. It's not just about looking calm.
It's about being calm through and through. Ethical conduct, mental purity, wisdom.
That's the essence of it. Genuine peace is this deep, integrated state.
And for Santakaya Thera himself, how did the story end for him after hearing this teaching?
Well, the sources tell us that at the very end of this discourse by the Buddha, Santakaya Thera attained arahantship, full enlightenment.
That's incredible. So his unique quality, rooted in this really unexpected past, became the trigger for his own ultimate liberation and for this teaching for everyone else.
It's a beautiful arc, isn't it? From stillness observed to stillness explained to stillness fully realized in its deepest sense.
Absolutely. So, stepping back from this fascinating journey, from a monk's posture to a lion's cave ritual to the definition of ultimate peace, what's the big takeaway here?
Well, I think there are a couple of things. One is maybe a reminder that our present tendencies, even physical ones, can have really deep roots, maybe in ways we don't consciously grasp, from past experiences, or maybe even past lives, as this story suggests.
That's quite a thought.
And perhaps more practically, it really clarifies what calmness means in this tradition. It's not just about surface appearances, not just sitting quietly. It's this profound inner state achieved through ethical living, mental training, and letting go.
It makes you think, doesn't it? About the connections between your own habits, maybe things you do without thinking, and what's going on deeper inside. And it really pushes us to consider, what does calm truly mean for you? Is it just about managing stress or looking composed?
Or does it extend, like the Buddha taught, into the very fabric of how you act, how you speak, what you cultivate in your mind? Does it involve that deeper letting go?
Something to reflect on, for sure. Maybe next time you find yourself seeking a bit of stillness.